Damn. Welcome back, mere mortals, to another edition of the Musings. Now, what is Musings? Musings is where we get to look back at the week that was, the thoughts, the learnings, the ideas, things we want to talk about, bounce off each other, and as well as you, mere mortals. I've got Karen.
Hello,
here.
Karen here.
Juan here from the mere mortals, and we're going to get into Musings. I want to chat to you today, Karen, about, two things. One, NFTs, Nifties.
Yeah, boy.
And my experiences with Nifties. Maybe some thoughts behind it. We've talked about it already, so I'm not going to drill it too hard. But then a little story of me voluntarily not going to the gym because I was too wrecked.
Well, I don't believe this.
Yes,
We're already in absurd territory here. All right, so mine will be a little bit about being a capable person, a little bit about...
A little bit
about... Damn it, man, I'm going to think of that all the time now. I'm going to talk about status and reasons for doing things, and potentially even continuing with goals once you're done with them. Okay, very nice. As another bird comes by with us here on the bottom, we won't have one of his friends for a while. I'll get started with mine, just a nifty story, and Karen knows this full well, but I'm going to summarize it, drill it down. We've talked about Nifties. I think episode 162, I started talking about them. And I think it was 162 because it was I posted a particular thumbnail to Instagram just recently, and I was like 162, and I was me talking about Nifties. So finally, folks, out there, I purchased my first Nifty. It's if you want to look up more details, of course, it's to do with Vee Friend, which is Gary Vee's Nifty collection. It gives me pretty much access to VCon for 3 years and whatever else comes along with it, and the price, etc., etc., etc. But one thing I found was obviously during the purchasing of the Nifty and everything else going behind, learning about what's a Nifty, how does the Ethereum blockchain work, how does the contracts work, it just opened my eyes to going, dang, I can really see this being a new possibility in so many directions. And it's one of those where, when you feel in the gut, and I've said this before, I had a similar feeling when I bought Bitcoin a long time ago. I've had this feeling when I first transitioned to doing my sort of bodybuilding movements that I did many, many years ago. This is probably only another one of those few times in my life where I've gone, there's something here. There is something here, and I need to pursue it to some degree or extent. So it was obviously fun getting involved with it, that's cool. And at least I could be able to share. So any mere mortals out there, if you're keen or want to know how NFTs purchases work, you want to know about gas fees, you want to know about how do you move around Ethereum money around to different wallets and digital wallets, I've got some knowledge now. But in saying that, it's now I'm getting to see just how much I don't know that I don't know. So I think if I look back at episode 162, and I was talking about NFTs, I kind of knew them. Nifties, this is what they are. This is what they're doing. This is what you can do with them, and this is why they're being priced at X amount of value. Now that I've done a purchase and read, let's just say, 3 hours worth of info, I'm going, holy bananas. There is so much more here that I have no idea about, like gas fees. Yeah,
is
that an acronym?
No. So, look, don't hold me. It might be an acronym. But, Karen will have a quick look.
Yeah.
But basically, gas fees is when you're doing a transaction with the Ethereum blockchain, where you're trying to purchase something or you're trying to put something into the Ethereum blockchain, think about it, the cost of transaction. It's the cost of transacting with the Ethereum blockchain and doing a movement of money or a movement of the Ethereum, right, or Ether. And it changes. It changes between... Is it an acronym?
No, so it just says gas refers to the fee required to successfully conduct a transaction on Ethereum. They're denoted in GWEI. I don't know how you say it. GWEI, which itself is a denomination of Ethereum equal to 0.000000001 Ethereum, 10 to the negative 9.
Dang,
Ethereum.
okay. So I'll give you some information, and you'll hear of how much complexity there is and how much simplicity I feel like I know about this beyond how much you could know. So I'm going to be super transparent for people. I bought this Nifty for 1 Ethereum. So 1 Ethereum for all the Australian folks when I bought it was $5,100. That's how much this thing costs. And when I purchased it, there was transaction costs for me to purchase the Ethereum. There was transaction costs in terms of the actual fiat money. To do a movement from one wallet, which was pretty much like a Coinbase, a CoinSpot, from there to it's a different digital wallet. I can't remember the I forget the name. Have a quick look at Metamask just to see what exactly that type of wallet is called.
Okay.
But to move money to that wallet, it costs 0.005 Ethereum each movement. And so I did one little tiny movement to make sure that the money would go through, and then the full movement to move all of the money across.
Yeah. So Metamask wallet?
Yeah, Metamask wallet. So
How does Metamask wallet work? It's a browser extension that lets you run D apps without being part of the Ethereum network as an Ethereum node. So manages your Ethereum wallet, which contains your ethers, and allows you to send and receive ethers through a D app of interest. I don't know what a D app is.
DeFi, which is decentralized financial asset, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
But in other words, so that costs obviously to move that over there. Now that's not essentially gas fees. That's just like movement fees. But then for me to purchase the actual Nifty, you have to then connect that mask to the website of where they're selling it on the Ethereum blockchain, and it costs 1 Ethereum to do the purchase, but the gas fee was 0.02 Ethereum or 0.03 Ethereum. And you can basically charge, it costs you less for the gas fee or the transaction or the confirmation of purchase, but it takes longer. And longer here means like minutes. So it's just loading there for minutes. And if someone comes along and tries to purchase it at the same time with a quicker gas fee and they beat you, you no longer not get it, but you also lose your gas fee that you paid for it. So you could theoretically be out of pocket by like a couple of $100 just because you attempted it but went slowly. So funnily enough, I was like, okay, well, if I purchase at a time when most of the people in the US are sleeping, I don't really have much challenge. It's just people around Australia. And so when I bought it, there was really no one really buying it. So I was like, oh, thank God. I just could pay for like the low gas fee. But it just made me think, oh man, just how the gas fees works for buying other Nifties, resale purposes, how you take out percentages based on this. I went, oh, okay, there's some complexity. And even going down into the depth of what the contract looks like. So I think I was telling you, at some point, people have to need a little bit of code, right? When you look at the contract, it is written in code. So it is code. So to read your contract, you need to know how to read code. So I went, oh, okay, all right, it's very basic, but still, you kind of start going, oh, okay, if I'm going to even understand what's going on, you have to have some knowledge of, okay, this is the structure of, say, like what would be called a JSON response on a HTML page or like a API call. Okay, there's certain similarities there to the way that a contract is written onto the Ethereum blockchain, depending on the language they use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I went, awesome, interesting, I'm glad into it. And now I go, okay, I'm excited to get into it. And I know, oh man, there's a lot of shit here, and you got to like kind of pick your battles on where to go first.
Yeah, I like the whole concept as a whole. I'm very similar. Like I talked about how I wanted to create a Nifty for the mere mortals, because that was me just assuming it would be relatively easy.
No, the more I looked into it now, I was like, oh man, that would be super hard. I've got a friend, Toph Evans.
Yeah.
He put his book up as a Nifty.
Okay.
So you can buy Toph's book as a Nifty, and he made it like a little graphic front cover, so it like blows up as a bomb. But I know for him, it's been pretty much of a struggle. He's a pretty good marketing person already, and just for him to get it like approved to be a Nifty, to be used by people, is taking weeks of approval. So you have to actually get approval to have these things on.
How does that work? Because there's only one book, so how is he?
No. So you remember, you can do like 20,000 copies of the book.
Yeah, okay.
So theoretically, you could be like,
so your Nifty can be exactly the same as everyone else's Nifty, essentially.
Exactly. You could say, I'm going to create 20,000 of these books in Nifty. Maybe like you want to be special. One of them's going to be like a diamond cover. The other one could be like a digital signature.
But are they actually different?
I believe the ones are just all the same.
Yeah.
So what's the benefit of you getting that over a book?
Yeah, or just an ebook.
Yeah.
That's where I'm struggling to be like, okay, why would I need that?
Well,
unless it was cheaper.
So I'm going to give this away for most people. I'm going to give this idea away. So if you want to take it out there, because it kind of exists already in some forms or ways. Most of the bigger podcasts at the moment, really big ones, especially people with like books, one of the trends starting to do is to create communities while they're doing the podcast. I don't know if you've seen this much. The really big ones like a Dave Asprey, Vishant's, whatever his podcast name is.
Well, I think that's just part of the normal thing of becoming sort of famous, I guess, in a way.
Well, but it's a very specific trend where what they're doing is they're basically saying, oh, if you buy a book or you join the podcast or you pay the X amount of money, then they're building like this platform where they're there during the live recordings of the podcast and they can ask questions. Like it's very specific, like all the same, right? So I could imagine a Nifty equivalent of that. So rather than buying, like it could be the book version. So say one of them comes up with a new book and says, okay, buy it as a Nifty. There's 20,000 copies. But if you buy that, you also get, a free 1 year access to the community or something like that. So you can watch live recordings. That would be an idea of like, okay, there's a smart contract against an NFT. So there's a reason for why people want to get it and you get the book.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like those levels.
Yeah, see, like that just to me sort of says like the Nifty isn't about the art side of it or the physical owning of the book. It's more you just get access to different things.
Yes,
so
and I think
it's almost like a subscription in a way.
And more and more that I'm learning is
sounds like it's just a real different way of saying like you can get this subscription or you can get a piece of like it seems like it's just a bundle of things.
Yeah, I think that the power behind it, all of this stuff is not the NFT layer, not the artistic layer. That's just where obviously it's starting to be shown through. Like that started in 2017, and that's what's pretty predominantly pushing things forward. But it'll come a time when that top layer of the artistic sense, that's not the value. The value is like everything below it, and then you can get rid of a lot of middlemen, a lot of third parties, because you're just dealing directly with like the immutable blockchain that can write things down. So why do you need ticker tech when the blockchain can just be ticker tech? Like what's the point of having that sort of level to it? So
and then it's just like, okay, if something goes wrong, who can you blame the blockchain? Can you get recompense?
Well, there's owners and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but like take this with I'm telling you,
and this is new stuff.
Have you heard of One's Truth? This is like this is what I know of it based on my like attempt of learning.
Yeah, no, this sounds like you're more.
This is me trying to explain something that is very complex and very new.
Yeah, and look, when it is this complex and new, there's going to be scams. There's definitely going to be bad stuff happening. So, act wisely, people.
A little summary. So, there's a Discord channel that Gary's got going on with all the people who are buying and who want to get involved in this. And I recently saw so you can resell the Nifty over in OpenSea. And you can resell back to other people. And I was saying to you that, basically someone tried to sell one for something like 5.2 Ethereum, except they actually they accepted an offer for 5.2 or 52 USDC, which they thought it was like, basically the same thing. No, you gave it away $52 and you paid like $5,000 for it. So you can even get not even scammed. You just got to be like, because you don't know what's going on, you just lose it for that much.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff going out there. And like I talked about with my brother and his girlfriend, I think she tried to transfer some coins that she had into a different wallet. The wallets didn't sync up or something weird, and like it's just gone. Couldn't get it back.
Nothing you can do about it.
A couple of grand just lost there.
Sorry, I forgot to say this. So, and because when I purchased mine, it's at loading, and I had my photo, so it was loading for about 10 minutes.
Oof.
And I was like, oof, okay, all right. I hope no one's trying to buy this at the same time, because it is. I'm going to lose this. I'll be like, God damn. And then it finished loading, and it came up with an error. Ooh. And I was like, it was like something like, couldn't process, try again later. And I was like, shit. Reloaded a couple of times, tried to buy it again. And like 3 minutes later, it was like, oh no, this thing's already been sold. And I went, shit, crap. Someone must have, I'm going to go have to buy another one now and pay another gas fee. Went to go try and pay for another one, and it said I had 0.01 Ethereum left, and I went, where has my Ethereum gone? Like, where's my money gone? And I was like panicking. I was like, what the hell? 20 minutes later, it then showed up on my account being like, you bought it. And I was like,
yeah, no, that's not worth it for me at this stage. Like that's not worth that. There
was some heart palpitation going on. I was like, mate, where's this going?
That's I mean, it sort of is play around money for your current wealth, I guess, but it's still still not fun. Yeah, okay, all right, let's get into some other things. So I've been noticing recently that I'm doing a couple of things where I don't feel they're valuable anymore, but I'm still doing them. Okay. So it's like, why am I doing this? I talked about this with the running. And I said to everyone, I'm going to stop at the end of this month.
Yep,
this is the end.
You
made the call. And then I've been thinking, in the process for getting ready for this little meditation retreat I'm doing next week. So this is the last episode pre-retreat, people. So enjoy Kyron in this form. Yeah. He might come back enlightened. He might come back schizophrenic.
This Kyron is chaos format. Yeah. We await the orderly
exactly.
Kyron come out.
We'll see what happens when he comes back. But this is the things could change.
Be ready.
Things could change. I'm not expecting much change, but whatever. And so it just got me thinking though. I've been doing a lot of work for that, and so I haven't been running, even though I was dialing it down anyway, even though I was saying, this is my last month, it's okay if I'm not doing as much. I've barely been doing any. And there's something in me that says, you didn't give your full go. Like, you got close, You did really well to get, the midway point. You're on the knife's edge of being able to get the marathon. Supposedly, I haven't actually run more than the 3/4, but
theoretically,
the
you should
next
be able
thing
to.
after running a 3/4 is to run the full thing.
Yeah.
So I still need to do that, but I still want to do it. I could do that tomorrow if I wanted. Like, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. I'm pretty sure I could physically do it, but I'm also quite certain I wouldn't even get close to the 4 hours. And there's something about that. There's something saying to me, like, you didn't give it your full go. You didn't give it your best shot. And even though I don't want to do it anymore, I've talked about how much I'm not enjoying this running and how many hours it's taking up. What is it? What is it that's driving me forward? And I was thinking, so why am I pursuing things that don't bring me pleasure and that I acknowledge mean little now and might even be harming me? And like, for example, they are slightly harming me because I'm not doing the stuff I really enjoy. Like, I've been doing a bit more calisthenics and handstands. I'm like, God damn, this is the best thing ever. This is so much fun. Like, I love pull-ups. I love doing high pull-ups, pulling the bar up to sort of like chest or waist level. So much fun. So harkening back, I think, to keeping your edge. And I feel I have an obligation to future Kyron in that one, as in, like, I got to think in the future. I don't want to do things right now that'll destroy my body, even though I could do it now, that will hurt future Kyron. So I feel there's an obligation to him to not do
wrong by him.
Stupid stuff. Not drink alcohol obsessively now so that my liver is damaged. Yep. Not do all these things. But then I think on the opposite side, there's also no obligation to past Kyron as well. So even though he's in the past, it's sort of like...
He said that commitment.
Yeah, he made that commitment. And I feel like I'm somewhat indebted to him. So there's a couple of things with that. There might be, like, what are the reasons then? What is that? So there's sort of the status reason to be able to say I did do the marathon. I guess social accountability. I said it on here multiple times.
I'm going to do
it. Even a habit. Like, I'm already doing it. I like to keep doing things I'm already doing. So my question is, I suppose, have you done things like that before where you're doing something, but it's maybe not what you want to do right now, but you're doing it out of an obligation somewhat? Like, why persist in a goal which you think after a while is like, maybe this is harming me, maybe this is hurting me, maybe this isn't useful?
Well, I'd have to, not that to copy it, but I have to say the running as well, similarly, because
absolutely,
it's definitely harming, like, the amount of time you have to do other things. And even though I'm not even close to getting in the volumes that I should be doing, it's still like, okay, I'm not enjoying this. Like, it's not like I'm truly taking valuable things out of it, apart from the fact that I'm getting better at the thing, which is running. Maybe harkening back to when I started edging away from swimming as well. I thought, okay, I can feel like I'm done with this now. I don't want to swim anymore. I don't want to do any more of this training. And it's taking like a hell of a lot of time in the mornings. But you're right. I think there's probably something to be said around the discipline of, following through with something that you've set out you're going to do, even if it is now leading down that path, obviously to a limit. Like, if it's going to really cause some serious issues to the future okay, fine, don't do that. But I could still associate some level of, okay, you're gaining discipline, you're gaining something out of the fact that you're pursuing it all the way through.
Like for example, it's a balance between the past and future as well. So even though I'm running now, and I would say if I kept doing this for a year, this is probably going to start harming future Kyron, because I'm getting all these, like, weird sort of hip pains or something. Yeah. It's, in the moment, it's fine. I can deal with it. But if I continually did that, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some bad stuff from that.
I think there explicitly, there's like the battle between, could you be doing future Kyron physical harm, or if you give it up too early, do you give then the issue of, like, more of a psychological issue to the future Kyron, because then in your mind starts playing the, I gave up that, or I just didn't pursue it to its full extent, and then you do something else that might be, maybe you don't enjoy as much, but it might be valuable to you. Let's just say learning about Nifties or learning about some new tech or something else. And you go, I gave that up. So, like, maybe it's easy now to do this again. So maybe you build in a little bit of give up mentality that maybe you didn't have before because you did that. So I think there's a balance between those two that you find somewhere.
Yeah. So I'll give another example because this was another thing that recently came in my mind and I went, oh, why am I doing this still? So I talked about cold showers and implementing them, and it's been a long time since I talked about them. If you harken back to, I say harken back, you use it, and now I'm using it. It's like one of those, I think a little bit. If you start saying it and calling it out, you start using it way more. Like it's just in my head at the moment. So going back to when I was talking a lot about Wim Hof, and I was sort of in this breathing Wim Hof area
cycle,
where it's probably about 20 episodes. That was mostly what I talked about. So that was June last year. I was June or July? July, I believe. July last year. Okay. So right in the dead of winter, I said, I'm going to start doing cold showers. And so I've done them all the way through now, and they're on my daily sort of checklist. Have you done your cold shower today? Yes or no?
Yep.
Now, I was looking at that today, and as we're getting into the colder weather now again, it's during summer, it was nice even to have a cold shower. It's just something easy. Yeah, okay, good. This feels good. And then it starts getting a little bit, not as enjoyable. And now it's definitely in the unenjoyable part. And I got myself thinking again, okay, why am I doing this? I don't even think there's any real benefits to it. I know there's some people who say, sort of the Wim Hof style, there's something about the physiological changes that go on in your body, the discipline, the determination one. I've heard maybe it increases testosterone. I'm unsure about that. Most of the benefits, though, I think are those tiny incremental ones, sort of taking zinc every day, taking magnesium, which I myself am not a big fan of those because it's so hard to say, is this actually doing anything? But it got me thinking, like, okay, well, why are you doing it still, Karen? And then this one was definitely none of those things I said. There's no social accountability. Everyone's forgotten by now. There's no obligation to pass Kyron. He didn't say, I'm going to do this for a year.
X amount of time,
even though I'm surprised I've done it for 11 months, sort of unthinkingly almost.
Yep.
There's no, what was the other one I said? There's no status. I guess the habit one is still there, and that's maybe the only ones.
Yep.
But it really, this one was definitely discipline. It's in my daily checklist, even though I don't care about it anymore. As long as it stays in that daily checklist, I'm going to do it. And until I change it in there, I don't allow myself to change it. So here's another question though, related, I guess, somewhat to this is doing things that. So we were talking about doing things that you're not enjoying and that you don't really want to do. Have you ever had a time when you've done something you thought you weren't capable of in a negative sense, as in like, I didn't think I was this sort of person, and then you did something and it like almost shocked you, like, oh shit, I didn't believe.
Like in a malevolent way?
Yeah, like in a bad way, as in like, I thought I was this type of person, but then I did this, and then it was like, oh, maybe, and it doesn't have to be really bad. Maybe you're like, I'm a gym going type of person, and then you start doing running and you're like, oh shit, what the hell happened there?
Yeah, okay.
I've got one, which will...
Well, I mean, my one, because I was going to talk about it today, was just like Friday. I've got a planned out sort of disciplined workout schedule.
Yeah, okay.
Friday
There's a good one.
So Friday came along, and I just went, no, I'm not going to the gym today. Oh. Like, I'm just flat out not
this doesn't sound like
the
one.
I know, exactly right. Like, I'm like, oh, yep, totally up for it. But no, I just woke up, the day before I was extremely sore by the afternoon. By the morning, I was so sore and super tired. I went, no, I'm not going today. Like, flat, I wasn't even like, I'll go in the afternoon, I'll go on lunchtime. No, I'm just not going today at all. And it surprised me a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, I see how it is. I was glad I did it. Like, in the end, I was totally glad. And I've shifted that workout to today, which is all good. But yeah, maybe that's a little bit like, ooh, okay. That's slightly different.
Well, did maybe what surprised you was that there was no internal battle? Because I've had this in the past, for example, when I had to work out at the mines after dinner late at night, which is just awful time for me. I hate working out on full stomach. All that. There's definitely days where I'd get back to my room, my little donger, I'm sitting in there, and it goes, okay, it's 8 o'clock now. You need to get there basically be in there and done before 11 o'clock. Otherwise, your next day is just going to be suck. Even like it sucks because you're working, and you'd rather not be working, but now you got to...
Even worse, because now you're tired.
Yeah. And there was some times where I'd be a real internal battle, and I'd maybe sit there for 15 minutes, going back and forth, wavering. Most times, I would win in the sense of like, oh, all right, fuck it, I'll go. Have a shit workout, but whatever.
Got it done.
Got it done. And there was those couple of times where I lost, and it's like, okay, the internal battle was lost. Was it maybe you were surprised there was no battle?
No, I think I was surprised there was no battle. There was no battle in like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go a little... No, I was like, no, I'm not going flat out at all. There's no battle going on there.
Are you scared of that? Are you worried about that?
No, I wouldn't say I'd be worried about it. I think there was...
Was it just a rare event?
I'd say a rare event, but I'd say more acceptable reasons as to why I undertook the fact that I didn't go. And I was okay with those reasons. Like whether... could I have gone? Certainly. I think I looked there in future one from like 3 days, 4 days from now is going to like really benefit me. Probably not as much. Like if I go today versus what then the next 3 or 4 days, okay, I'm going to have a better 3-4 days than if I just don't go today. So I like...
Jocko would be disappointed.
Man.
You're not going to be able to order him with that sort of discipline.
Mate.
You need iron-willed.
I had to go down that path. What about you?
So mine... The noise I made at the start. What was that noise?
Yeah.
So when I was playing soccer, cauliflower. When I was, let's say I was in youth. It was a youth team, and I believe I was 15, or maybe 16. I'm gonna say 16.
Okay.
So quite young, Karen. And I had started drinking probably around that year. I feel that's early, but it might not even be that early in Australia. Like 15, 16, I think that's
probably an average somewhere.
Yeah. It's around there, yeah. Anywho, there's a big, long, extended story. I told one recently, like there's a story I've never told anyone because it was so embarrassing. And no one knows the full story. Some people know parts of it. But
is there nobody out there that knows the full story?
No, never been told. Maybe one day... We'll see.
Maybe it'll be a Nifty. It'll be a Nifty video.
Yeah, dude, that would be the top, and people would want to own this story. It's a good one. I'll give a little bit of the ending though. And so, I thought to myself, I heard people in the soccer team, and this was around the time. So I was in a team which was a youth team. So everyone was like 17 or 18 because it was under 18s, and I should have been playing in an under 16s team, but I got moved up. They wanted me in this team, so I was like, okay, cool.
Yep.
I'll play in here. I'm glad I did. It was awesome. But I was obviously with kids who were 1 or 2 years older than me.
Yep.
And they were going to parties. Some of them were in uni or 18. In uni. And the coach was very strict. Like, if I find out you've been drinking the night before, you don't play on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, that's the rule.
That's the deal.
And I always thought to myself, like, man, how could you be so irresponsible? Like, because I just had in my mind, this is, like, soccer, this is serious. Like, you don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I took it very seriously. Anyway, a certain serious events happened, and I ended up very drunk. I ended up puking that Saturday morning. Terrible. It was, I think it might have been one of the first times I puked from being drunk.
Okay.
I think it was like the first time I overdrank.
Yep.
I binge drink. And I played soccer that day, but it was a bit of... No one knew. It was a little bit just lethargic, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was in the afternoon, so there was a bit of time between the two.
To hydrate yourself.
Yeah. But obviously there was a deterioration in performance. And my coach was randomly talking to my dad the next week while my dad was waiting for one of my brother's training sessions or something. And he was like, yeah, Karen was a little bit like lethargic on the weekend, wasn't playing so good. And Dad said, oh yeah, there's a story behind that. And then the coach asked him, so I was like, I found this out later. I was like, Dad, you snitches get stitches. Where's my knife? I'll hold it up to the camera. And
Dad ratting you out.
And yeah, so anyway, the coach obviously found out, and then I got benched the next week as punishment for doing that.
Dang, daddy down, like, pulling you down to the bench.
Yeah. So anywho, that whole period that was probably one of the first times where I was like, I'm not that sort of person. Holy shit, I guess. Like, just random events happen, and then next thing that I know,
it is that person.
I am that person. Yeah. So yeah, there's some weird things out there like that. There's another one as well. When I was reading the Noonday Demon, he was talking about, so this book is all about depression. It's awful book in the terms of like, if you want to know about depression and what it seriously means, that's the book, because the stories in it are just brutal. I think in the past I've said I've had depression. I haven't had depression. I've had like a mini depression, but the stuff that he's talking about is the proper stuff, the proper stuff. And he mentions in this one bit how he wasn't trying to justify this, but he was basically saying like at one point he was super depressed and he was taking all these drugs and he was self-medicating through like alcohol and cocaine and all this stuff, and he beat his partner. Now, it was kind of unclear if it was a male or a female because he's bisexual.
Yep.
In either case, awful thing to do. And he was just saying like this was a huge moment for him where he was like, I never understood wife beaters until this moment when he was one, and then he was like, oh shit, I can sort of like empathize with these people in a way, like because I am now one of them. Yeah, true. So maybe we all need to commit genocides.Maybe we all need to do all these bad things just to feel. You want to feel true empathy? You want to actually empathize?
That is some mere mortal. I pay you back. Make sure you commit some genocide. Jesus.
Well, we're talking about casual racism not too long ago. So,
but it is true. Like that's why I agree with the viewpoint how Jordan and other people come across this way that by default, it is just amazing that we're not all malevolent and killing each other. It's not the opposite. It's not like, oh, why is it that you're not, like, you're a little bit weird? No, it's like, why is it the case that most of us are actually okay and living socially acceptable and not killing each other because you take some random thing from another person or whatever else? So, I think everybody has the capabilities to be truly malevolent and evil if you let it happen.
And there we go. You've got me onto my mere mortal moment. Do you have any more stuff? No. Okay. So my mere mortal moment is a capable person can also be a dangerous person. There is a thing about, we love capability, someone who is capable of doing these things. They're competent. There's a thing about competency which seems like really attractive, but you got to be careful because the more capable you are, I would say the more dangerous you can also be in a certain extent. So say
more capable, the more competent for whatever action you take.
And so you got to be careful, got to have that introspection. Stalin was, I believe, from what I've read, one of the best logistical planners out there. He had a work ethic and a mind made for logistics. Yeah. But combine that with some really bad ideas around socialism and communism, ends up starving millions of people, ends up creating this brutal regime. So capability, it's a good thing, but you got to be careful as well.
That's right. Watch out for the intent. Mine is accepting that we are not 100% lets us continue at 80% to ensure we don't crash to 0%.
God damn, that's a huge one.
Damn.
How am I going to fit all that
accepting
in one
that we are not 100%. Yeah, but it just...
So what do you mean by that?
So basically, it's like when you sometimes accepting the fact that you're not at 100% of your applicable effort that you can give, and accepting that you can just do 80% so you don't end up at 0%, like completely crashing out. So my example there was, if I really, I wasn't 100% for the gym session the next day, and it's just accepting like, okay, well, I'm just going to do 80% of what I achieved to do. Maybe it won't be gym. Maybe I'll just do a lot of walking. I'll just go and do other things. But if I had pushed myself to do 100%, I probably would have just crashed out, been completely like wrecked, and then I'd just be at 0% for the next day. So take the 80%, accept it when it happens, be okay with that. So
nice.
Musings.
That's
so
it.
We talk about learnings, nifties, thoughts, ideas. Now, of course, are you capable? And are you competent?
Of committing genocide? Watch the mere mortals. We got you covered.
We got you covered. This is, if you want to know how to maybe kill off some random NFTs or something else, something weird, we'll be your people. I don't know if you can go back through all the episodes and learn how to commit a genocide. However, what you can learn is how to commit to your goals.
Yeah.
That's where you can commit to your goals, commit to your ideas, learnings. Go back through and check out all the other episodes that they are available, whether it's on the tube, whether it's on Instagram. There's plenty of stuff in there. Make sure you're tuning in, following, liking, sharing.
If you want to learn more about most of the stuff we talk about, it's a process here. So if you're just tuning in, some of the stuff we'll talk about, you'll only understand if you've seen the old stuff. I'm not saying you have to go watch it. If you watch from here on for maybe like 5 episodes,
you'll get what's going on.
You'll get what's going on. But sure. if you want some of the references, go back check
it out. If you're really hardcore, start at 1, go all the way to episode 1. You'll probably up to episode 210 by the time you bloody catch up with all of it plus conversations. But you'll get to know. I think if someone went back and listened to episode 1 all the way through, you would get to know 80% of who we are. I reckon you get a good... Like, if you've never met us before and you watched all of them, you know 80% of us. Yeah. Maybe there's some stuff that we don't share here yet, but you know goddamn a lot of things. You can come up to me and talk and I'd be like, whoa, you seem to know me really well.
Yeah. Would you ever watch them all again, do you think?
I would go back to some of the very initial ones to see how much my mindset might have changed with some of them. So some things that my mindset would probably never change on might be like fitness ideas, gym, the way that I interact with it, or food. I wouldn't go back because I'm like, okay, mine hasn't changed on that. But if you're in like episode 12, I'd say something like, oh, blockchain shit, or cryptocurrency is dumb. I'd love to go back and kind of review that and go, ooh, like what was my mindset then and what is it now? Maybe even things where pre-COVID, like when we were talking about, what could happen if, some sort of virus went around the world, our initial thoughts of what would happen to COVID, maybe in retrospecting on that, because it gives you a good glimpse of, okay, what did the general human think before COVID to what I think now? And like, has my mindset changed where maybe I said then like, oh yeah, I'd totally travel because of these reasons. And I'd go, oh, no, I wouldn't now because of this and this has changed. So yeah, I could see myself doing that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'd watch all of them again.
Not all of them, but some selective ones I would.
Yeah, same here. Or maybe like a smattering. Maybe I'd like watch one in every 20 or something for X period of time. Yeah. But yeah, goddamn, it'd take a while.
Anyways, folks, make sure you tune in for the next one, of course. And for now, that's it. The Immortals, Juan out.
Karen out. Zoom.